Hello punters and welcome back to another Saturday racing preview. Of course, in this video we're looking at the Flemington Black Caviar Lightning Stakes Group 1 meeting this weekend. Also got the Tab Vanity Group 3 race and also the CS Hayes Stakes where we'll get to see Alligator Blood versus Catalyst versus Dalasan. So really looking forward to getting stuck into those races in particular. But of course, like we always do, we go through each race on the card, find, I guess, sort of break it down for you, give you my best sort of picks, the top four, make a bit of a case for anything that I think is a good chance of winning and something you might want to back on yourself. If you've got ones that you want to back in mind, I can make a case for them. I'll make a case for ones I don't think can win. So just to give you a bit more of an insight and yeah, hopefully we can find plenty of winners tomorrow at Flemington. So looking at the first race on the card, it's a 1600 metre benchmark 90 race. Look at the speed map for this race, and I'd say that Titan Blinders and Sunday Pro will be the two leaders. I can't really see too many more being up on the speed. Most of them tend to be back markers or midfield, so I'd say that these two will lead quite easily. Perhaps Ocean 14 will sort of kick up and sit in behind for the box seat, and Carzio won't be too far off either, I would say. Look, for me, I'm going to gut land with number 8, Mount Tabora here for Peter and Paul Snowden. Kerry McAvoy down to ride. It was a really nice second last time out behind Shawnee. Was only narrowly beaten on that occasion. I think that was a great effort. Prior to that, it won at Sandown, really impressively beating Eagle Ridge. It, sort of really powered over the top there on that occasion. So it's in some very nice form. And I think that this is the right kind of race for it. The map suggests it's really going to get a nice run of the race. I think if McAvoy can get it into a nice spot, I think then it'll just be too good for the leaders, and I'd say it'd be hard to beat. So I've got number 8, Mount Tabor on top, ahead of number 9, Titan Blinders, who, as I mentioned, will get that easy time on the speed with Sunday Pro. If they go at a pretty slow clip, this horse will come right into it. It's been some great form recently, hasn't missed a top 3 finish in its first 4 starts its preparation. And last time out, it was second behind Gentico. That form, I think, will stand up pretty well. Prior to that, it was third behind Gentico and turned the tide. So been around some decent form lines, and prior to that it was second to King of Hastings. So looking at some form lines that are good enough to win this sort of race. So I've got number 9 Titan Blinders in for second. In for third, the favourite number 3 Overexposure. I'm very keen on this horse coming back to Flemington. It was really impressive, eye-catching run when it ran 5th here a few starts back on the 12th, the 14th of December. It finished behind Bumper Blast and River Jewel on that occasion. The form of that race has been pretty good. Then, of course, went up to Queensland, went to Eagle Farm, and the Gold Coast finished behind the likes of Nick and Over, looks like Elvis, and then Vega won and redouble in that nice open class race on the Gold Coast on Magic Millions Day. So, look, really good form around it. Comes back to Flemington. I think it's got a great chance with Luke Curry in the saddle, so I've got that in for third. And then in for fourth for me, number 2, Carzio, who's just a nice little consistent gelding, this horse, and he comes to this race behind the same form lines as Mount Tabora. He finished third on that occasion behind he and Shawnee. He was only beaten half a length, so really wasn't that far off Mount Tabora. So perhaps we'll get a decent enough chance here. Prior to that, in an open class race, was beaten by Galaxy Raider and Vaucluse Bay. So the form's not too bad for Carzio. He comes back to this track, enjoys running at this track, so I'd suggest that we'll see a good performance from him once again. Stars at Karam's a real interesting runner. Comes back as a gelding here. Interested to see how he runs. I couldn't take him first up over the 1600, but I'll definitely be watching for him late. But recapping the numbers for me, look, I'm keen to play number 8, Mount Tabora on top, ahead of number 9, Titan Blinders in for second. In for third, number 3, Overexposure. And in for fourth, number 2, Carzio. Moving on to race number 2 now. It's a 1600 metre race over the 1600 metre race, benchmark 84 class, and really nice benchmark 84 class as well. A couple of real nice horses in this one. We've seen a few of these go around in the past few weeks on Saturday meetings. So looking at the speed map here, I'd say 1000 Wishes might be able to find the top. I can't really see too many more that'll necessarily press on and get forward. I'd say that Fabric and Red Healer might be able to boot up and sit just in behind them. And Parlay Princess was up on speed on its last start win at Sandown, so I'd say perhaps it'll be close enough to the speed as well. But I'd say 1000 Wishes will lead and dictate the race. But look, for me, I'm going to go with number 7, Parlay Princess. I'm hoping Jess Eaton goes and sits up close to the speed, because This horse's last start win at Sandown was terrific. It was beat Delusions on that occasion. It's since come out and won, so the form's pretty good around it. But it was sitting 3 wide the trip on that occasion, but it just still found the line brilliantly. It was really a tough win, and I was very impressed with that win. And I'd say that it can go very close to winning here again if it can repeat that sort of performance. So I've got it on top. You have number 10, Global Sanction, who I think is a great each-way chance at $31 and $7.50 to play. So I think if you want to have an each-way play in this race, that would be the way to go. I'll definitely be having something on both Parlay Princess and Global Sanction. Global Sanction's second up form is terrific. 4 starts for 2 wins and 2 placings. So I think $31 is a very nice price. It was a little bit disappointing last start at Sandown, the Lakeside track, where it just really didn't come on. But look, you sometimes can't get too sucked into those type of performances. As we know historically, the Sandown Lakeside track can be hard to make ground from the back quite often. So I'm willing to forgive that performance at Global Sanction, and coming back to Flemington, where it's going to have plenty of time to wind up the straight and get into its gears. I'd say that this might be a much improved performance. Until Nugent gets 2 kilo claims, this horse only carries 52 kilos, so really bottom of the weight. I think it's got a very nice chance to win. In for third, number 4,000 Wishes will be bowling along out front, doing its own thing, and we'll give them something to catch, especially if it's left alone. It was just narrowly beaten by Paint the Town 2 last time out. On that occasion, 1,000 Wishes carried 56.5 kilos. This time comes down to 55.5, whereas Paint the Town 2 goes from 56.5 up to 58. So a bit of that weight swing there will go into the favour of the number 4,000 Wishes, I think. And number 2, Fabric is third up here. It was a bit disappointing last time out. Thought it would run much better in the last at Caulfield. Made it one of my best bets of the day. Did let us down that occasion. Has got a placing third up from 2 goes. But I'll like to see a repeat performance. I know its best can win this race, but it's just that real question. We haven't seen its best so far. And $3.90 is the favourite. Just would much rather look around and go for something else. Look, other chances in the race. Red Hilo has been in fantastic form. Definitely can give it a great chance. His last start win at Flemington was very good. Don't know about the form lines of that race. That's the reason why I haven't put it in the top 4. I think this is a much tougher race, but I do respect how informed this horse is. Definitely has a great chance. The other one who I want to give a really good shout to is number 9, Goldie Fox, who, of course, won 2 starts back at Flemington, and it did actually beat Parlay Princess on that occasion. Then it went to Sandown and it finished 4th behind the closer, and that's turned out to be good form. The closer's since come out again on Wednesday at Sandown and won again. So the form lines are pretty good around Goldie Fox, so a good each-way chance as well. So very open race for me. Number 7, Parlay Princess, like I said, I was just that impressed with its last start performance. I think it's going to be a good chance here again. Number 10, Global Sanction, like I mentioned, bottom of the weights, massive odds. I really do suggest an each-way play it as well. In for third, number 4, 1,000 Wishes, and in for fourth, number 2, Fabric. Moving on to race number 3, and this is the Talondirt Stakes over 1,100 metres. Really nice race here for the 2-year-olds. Looking at the speed map for this one, I would say that Mildred will find the top. Nitrous won't be too far off. Frederick the Dane usually is up on pace. Mr. Cashman, I think, will interested to see what it does from the outside barrier. Of course, on its debut performance was up there towards the speed. I think maybe they might look for the lead and maybe hope that Frederick the Dane sort of brings it into the race, but it'd be interesting to see what they do with that horse there. But look, for me, I'm going to land with a horse here that's returning to the track. Number 15, River Knight. Now, this horse finished first up at Sandown behind a horse called Hansetic, and we know that Hansetic's form has been excellent. It has since come back and won 2 impressive races, including the Brew Diamond Prelude for the Colts and Geldings last Saturday at Caulfield. So the form is really good for that. I know it was a long time ago. It was, we're looking at the 16th of November, so right back in spring, but this horse returns, and I just think that with that kind of form line, $7 is a nice price to take, so I'm going to have it on top. I'm going to trust Jamie Carter, give it a really nice ride, and gets that chance on the Flemington straight to really get out and wind up, so I think I'm going to have it on top. He's got a nice chance ahead of number 3, Mr. Cashman, who I was very impressed with its first up performance at Moonee Valley. It was a really nice win on that occasion, won by just under 2 lengths. Since gone out, had a nice trial at Cranbourne. So I think it'll return here and run well. Just the barrier 16 is a bit of a concern, but I think it can still run a race. Number 1, Mildred loves running at this track up the straights. Had 2 starts at the track for 2 wins up the straights. So I'd say that This horse will be right in the finish. My big question is that this horse has won over the 1,000 metres more often than not, and it now comes up to the 1,100 metre mark, and just that extra 100 metres might see it finding out. So I just would rather go look around it, but I do think it'll be a great chance for a top 3 finish. And then for the fourth, number 2, Nitrous, who comes out of arguably probably the best form lines in this race. Last time out, it was fourth behind Prague and Global Quest, which I think are 2 great chances for the Golden Slipper. So that's some good form. And prior to that, obviously run in the Magic Millions behind Away Game. It was only 4 lengths off on that occasion, so not too bad of an effort. And the Snowdens don't often bring their horses down here unless they've got a great chance. So I think that with James McDowell on the sale, $11 is well over the odds. So I'm going to look. But for me, I'm landing number 15, River Knight. Just as I said, that form around Hansetic at first up, I think is really good form to bring into this. And if we can find a spot from barrier 11, I think it'll be hard to beat. In for second, number 3, Mr. Cashman. In for third, number 1, Mildred. And in for fourth, number 2, Nitrous. Moving on to race number 4, and it's a 2,000 metre race, benchmark 84. Look at the speed map for this race. I'd say that Don Dubbin will find the top like it usually has and has done in its few races. And Good Idea might be close enough to the speed, but I don't really see too many others pressing on and finding the lead. So a bit of an interesting battle, tactical battle here for this race. Look, I'm going to land with number 9, Classic Way Away for Tony and Calvin McAvoy and Luke Curry in the saddle. This horse comes into this now off a 5th last time out at Moonee Valley behind Eureka Street and Sunday Prey. It faces Eureka Street here again. But this time around it goes from 1,600 up to 2,000 metres. This horse comes back up to a distance that I think is very suitable for it. We've seen it run a nice placing at this track and distance before. So in a pretty strong race as well, might I add. So I think that if it can enjoy that step up and trip, I think it'll be pretty hard to beat here. I think it's got the class edge on most of these. So if it can show up to that sort of class, I'd say it'll be going really close to winning this race. So I've got it on top. Ahead of number 5, Don Dubbin, who has just been in great form. And for me, if it finds the front and doesn't really get pressured, I find that it might be really hard to beat, to be honest. It was third last time out at Moonee Valley behind Under Oath and Jack Regan. It was really good on that occasion. It looked gone on the turn, but it still managed to find a kick, and it has tended to do that. And last time, 2 starts back at Flemington over there, 1,800 metres, it was challenged on that occasion as well, but still found. So this horse has a real good ability to keep finding, and that's a real impressive trait for a horse who just wants to win. So got it in for second. I think 750 and 250 the place is a very nice each way price for that horse. So I'm going to have it in for second. In for third, number 3, Selsamore, who I was really impressed, and it was an eye-catching effort last time out at Moonee Valley over the 1,600. It really hit the line well behind Eureka Street on that occasion. Gets that little weight swing, goes from, on that occasion, it was carrying the 57 kilos. It has 57.5 this time around, but interestingly, Eureka Street also carries similar weight. So there's not much weight swing there, but I think coming up to 2,000 metres, I think Selsamore will much appreciate that extra distance. And Eureka Street's had the running in between, so a bit of an interesting one there. But in saying that, Eureka Street I also give it a nice chance to. I think it's really good odds, in great form. It was 4th last time out at Caulfield behind Just Benjamin. I think that's some nice form, and prior to that it won well at Moonee Valley. So give it a nice chance. The other one's Sam Slick, number 7. I thought it was a bit over the odds. So this horse did actually beat Eureka Street last start at Caulfield, and prior to that it was 4th behind Don Dumbard. So a bit interesting. A lot of these form lines do intertwine, so you might really get away with backing quite a bit in this field, to be honest. And Scallum's another one who I give a nice chance to as well. It was a nice third last time out behind Don Dubbin. So looks a lot of similar form lines here, but the one that's got different form lines is number 9, Classic Way Away, and I think that it's got that bit of class edge, and if it just steps up to 2,000 metres, appreciates the distance, I think it'll be pretty hard to beat. So I've got it on top, ahead of number 5, Don Dubbin, who has lost there to be bolting out in front, doing its own thing. In for second, number 3, Selsamore, and in for third, number 2, Eureka Street. Moving on to race number 5 now, and it's the first of the feature race of the day. It's the CS Hayes Stakes at Group 3 over 1,400 metres. And we have a fantastic clash here. We're really looking forward to this. It's the clash between Alligator Blood, Catalyst, and Dullasan. We also have the returning Shenia and Soul Patch, who you can't really rest on either. They're very good horses that we saw in the spring. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. It's a really nice race. But look, I'd say that Alligator Blood will find the top. I'd say Spend might get across and sit outside of it, but besides that, I can't see Delilah speed in the race. So I think Alligator Blood will be out and setting the pace and be proving hard to run down. Now, I haven't gone with him. I think that Dalasan's huge, really nice odds here. I think 550 for Dalasan's much better to go at than the $2 at Alligator Blood. The reason being, this horse was really good first up. It finished third on that occasion, 2 Super Seth and 3 a Debt. Really was an unlucky run, really. I was on Super Seth that day, but even I admit that Dalasan was questionably ridden in that race, in my opinion. And I think that getting into this race now, I think they'll ride it much closer to speed. They won't want to give Alligator Blood too much of a head start, so I'd say that it'll sit just in behind it, and it'll be able to power over the top. This horse loves running this track. I can't stress enough that sometimes having that form at the track is so vital, especially up the Flemington Straight. And this horse has had 3 starts at the track for 2 wins and a placing. It's had 2 starts at this distance for the 2 placings. So this horse loves running at Flemington, and last time out it was over the 1600 metres. So I know that it steps back to the 1400. But that run last over 1600 was really impressive at Flemington. Prior to that, that was back in November. Then, of course, first up, it finished third behind Super Seth Free Dead over the 1200. Coming up to that 1400 metres, this horse is going to see big improvement, and I think that'll be hard to beat at the 550. So I'm going to have it on top ahead of number 3, Alligator Blood, who, look, we've seen what he's done. He's been absolutely devastating since returning from a spell. He's absolutely lit the tracks on fire at Eagle Farm and Gold Coast, respectively. Last time out, beat 11-11 at the Gold Coast. Prior to that, it beat Profit at Eagle Farm, and prior to that, beat 11-11 again. So that's over 1,200, 2 1,400 metre runs. So we know he'll run the distance. He'll be out bowling along. Barrier 1's absolutely perfect. Not a lot of speed in the race. He will be extremely hard to beat. I've got to concede that. But for me, $2 for its first crack at Flemington. Oh no, just a little bit of a query there. So for me, I'd rather look at Dalasan, who I know I could trust to run a good race at this track. But in for third, number 1, Catalyst. Now, here's the Kiwi superstar who's just coming over with a massive boom. It's been really impressive in its runs over there at Ellerslie, Riccarton and Hastings. It's just been really started to build up a picket fence. Since returning from a spell, it's won 5 in a row. So this horse has got a lot of ability. It's going to be back in the field. I don't know they're going to run it at an extremely crazy pace. So just be interested to see how this horse goes. If it gets taken right back in the field, whether it's going to be able to catch Alligator Blood and Dalasan, who'll be out the front. But definitely respect how good this horse is. But I think 290 is a bit short as well, similar to Alligator Blood. And then in for fourth, number 8, Chenier returns to the track. This horse I've got a lot of time for. It was really impressive first up in its preparation when it beat Arctic Wolf back at Sandown. That was a 5.5 length win on that occasion. Then it went round, it was beaten by Lady Lupino, who is no slouch. So, I mean, the form line was not too bad there. But this horse has a lot of ability. I think the 1400 first up's a really nice step, and I think $16 is probably a bit over the odds. Would I play each way? Probably not. Obviously, only 2 place dividends. But $16 is a really nice price regardless. I can see it running a good race in for fourth. And like I mentioned, Soul Patch also, I think it's another key chance in this race. First up has had a win and a placing off 2 goes and has won at this track and distance before. And it comes off a really nice trial as well. I think it will be looking for further though. I think 1400 metres will be a little bit short of its best, but I'd expect to be running home well. So recap the numbers for me on race number 5. Look, I'm keen to play Dalasan number 4 on top ahead of number 3 Alligator Blood in for second. In for third, number 1 Catalyst, and in for fourth, number 8 Chenier. Moving on to race number 6, and it's a benchmark 90 over 1200 metres, so first race up the straight. Look at the speed map here. Tony Niconi and Serious Suspect I expect to be the speed horses for this race. Vegas Knight will probably be just off the speed, and the rest of them tend to get back in the field, so interesting little battle here in this sort of race. And I think number 4, Serious Suspect's a nice price here. I thought its first up run at Flemington over the 1100 metres was quite impressive. It was just beaten by Blazowski on that occasion. Sorry, not a first up run. That was back at Flemington on the 1st of January. So it's had a bit of a spell since then. It's had just over a month between drinks, as they like to say, and it had a nice little tick over trial at Geelong as well, where it won that and beat Admiral's Joker on that occasion. I think this horse just gets out and rolls along in front. I think it will really give them something to catch, and if they really leave it alone, I do see it being hard to beat. So I'm going to have it on top ahead of number 10, Montenegro Man, who really misses a place. So I think that it'll Be a really good chance to run a nice race again here. It was beaten last time out by Lord Von Costa, and it was really charging home late at Flemington on that occasion. Drops back from 1200, goes from 1200, stays at the distance range. Only carries 54 kilos, so it will appreciate a bit of a drop in weight. And I think it's got a good chance once again. I think $6 and $2.20 the place is a really nice each way price. In for third, number 8, Big Night Out, who I think is really big odds in this race. I mean, it's last preparation was in some stellar form. I mean, we saw it win at Flemington over the 1400 metres. This track beat Juniper on that occasion, who's a top group horse. Prior to that, was beaten by Zatori, who we also know is a group horse. And then prior to that, it won well at Sandown, really beat them quite easily on that occasion in a weaker race. And I think this horse got a really good chance. My only question is, it'll be back in the field over 1200 metres. It probably does want that extra 200 metres. The 1400, it's definitely its right distance range, but I expect it to be charging home late. I think, again, each way it's a nice price. And then in for fourth, number 6, Tonico. Comes down from Sydney. Has to first go at the track and distance, which is a bit of a query, but it's got some great forms or lines around it. Last time out at 1200 metres was beaten by Southern Lad, and prior to that it did beat Southern Lad. So, I mean, Southern Lad going around a race like this would be well in the market, I think, as well. So, recap the numbers for me. Look, I'm pretty keen to play number 4, Serious Suspect here. I think it'll be out in front and really be hard to catch, and I think at an each way price, it's definitely worth having a go at. In for second, number 10, Montenegro Man. In for third, number 8, Big Night Out, and in for fourth, number 6, Tonico. Look, I do give Hassan Eagle a bit of a chance first up here. Jess Eaton in the saddles. Has to carry a lot of weight, though. That's my only query, but it does have nice first up stats. So $41 is probably a little bit overs for me. I think that's a bit of a crazy price. I think he can see him running a good enough race here to be in the finish, at least. Don't know if he's a winning chance, but he could run a cheeky little race. And number 9, Golden Halo, I thought was quite impressive first up at Caulfield. Finished third in Newsgirl on that occasion. That form has since been Frank. Newsgirl has won again last Saturday. So the form behind Newsgirl is quite good. And maybe Golden Halo's got a bit of a shout as well at the $7. So real interesting race. But look, I'm pretty keen to go with number 4, Serious Suspect. Move on to race number 7. Here is the Black Caviar Lightning Stakes, Group 1 over 1,000 metres. Really looking forward to this race. It's we see some really exciting horses come back to the track, and one of those is Nature Strip, who goes around as the short price favourite, $1.50 at the moment. He will be the leader in this race with Raceday, I would say. Dispatch will probably be just behind them. Tafani, Geetra, and Loving Gabby, I think we'll all be seeing midfield with I'm Excited taking up the rear of the field. Look, for me, $1.50 is just too short for me about Nature Strip. I know 1,000 metres Flemington, he's done it before, and he's done it very impressively, but I've got to land with the old boy Nature Raceday, because his first up form is just that good. He's had 10 starts first up for 5 wins and 4 seconds. So he's only missed the top 2 placing once from 10. So for me, this race has got 2 place dividends. So I really do think as long as Dispatch don't get him off the bit and has him really chasing, I think he's going to be very hard to beat. Now, first up last preparation, he did beat Nature Strip at Randwick. So I think that if he can return to that sort of form first up here, I think he can win. He's won at the track well before. He's had 4 starts at track for 2 wins and a second. His track and distance, he hasn't missed a top 2 finish from 2 goes. So I really think that he's going to be quite hard to beat. I think $7.50 and $2.40 the place, especially for not only paying a place dividend for 2, but I think he is either going to be the winner or he's going to finish second. So I think it's a really good way to play it rather than load in at the $1.50 about Nature Strip, who I do respect. I think he's going to be hard to beat first up over the 1,000 metres. His trial form has been terrific. Obviously, like I said, his first up form's great. His record at the track is supreme, absolutely supreme. He's had 4 starts for 4 wins here at Flemington. My only little concern is that he hasn't run at this track over 1,000 metres before. So just a little query there as to how he might go first up by 1,000 metres. But he knows a real speed horse, so I'd say it wouldn't bother him too much. But like I said, that little concern is that he went round at a $2 favourite at Randwick over 1,000 metres first up last preparation. He was beaten soundly by Raceday there. So $1.50 about me, no thank you, but I do respect how good he is. Number 7, Loving Gabby. Look, she returns the track. Really looking forward to see how she goes and weighs up against this sort of form. Of course, the Manicato winner. She comes here first up. She had 2 starts first up for 2 wins, so she's definitely going to be within a chance. And she has placed this track before and has won at this distance range before. Obviously, last preparation looking at real superior form. She did finish second behind Nature Strip, who blew them away on that day at Flemington. And then prior to that, it was a really nice winner, obviously winning the Manicato at the bottom of the weight. So she comes here again with 53.5, and that might be that she does have a huge weight swing on her opposition. But I find it hard to see her challenging Raceday and Nature Strip, but she will run a good race. And I think she'll place in for third. And then in for fourth, number 4, Guitra. He proved last prep that he's really could be up to running a good race here. I don't say he's a winning chance, but again, he's got great first up fresh stats. He's had 3 starts for 2 wins and a placing. He's been excellent this track, so 2 starts for 2 wins, and at this distance range, he's never missed top 2 placing. So he could be a bit of a smoky in this sort of race. He could really come out surprised, but like I said, this is his toughest test so far, so I want to see him do it first. But recap the numbers for me. Look, I'm going to go Red Cell each way. I think he's a great price. Again, no those 2 place dividends, but I think he will finish top 2, so I think you can go with that each way. Much better than going $1.50 about the win for Nature Strip for me. In for third, number 7, Loving Gabby, and in for fourth, number 4, Guitra. Moving on to race number 8, we've got the Tab Vanity over the 1400 metres. Nice little race here. Looking at the speed map for this one, I'd say Muse and Lady Duro will find the front with Bonavici might be up there as well. And be interested to see where Catalan goes from the outside barriers. A few on the inside of it that have speed, so I don't know whether to want to contest for the speed. But so a bit of a tricky draw for Catalan. Look, for me in this race, I'm going to land with number 8, Swing and Boom, who I think is great price here. It's returned really well to the track since coming back. Had a win first up at Cranbourne, where it only just narrowly got over Cupid's Bow on that occasion. Cupid's Bow has been spec'd in the market in most of its runs. It hasn't really lived up to that hype, so I'm not sure about form. But then it won so impressively last time. It beat Fane at Sandown, but as we know at Lakeside Track, it is very hard to come from back in the field and win, and this horse did, and just looked like it had something more to give it. I've been very impressed with its first 2 starts back from a spell, and I think it's got a great chance here again at the $15. I think well over the odds, so I'm going to have it on top ahead of number 9, Catalan, who, like I said, just that wide barrier is the only thing that concerns me. This horse has been absolutely superb in its first 2 runs of its racing career. Of course, won at Warwick Farm first up, then went to Newcastle and won well as a short price favourite there. But like I said, barrier 10 is a bit of a concern for me. I wouldn't play at the 250 personally. Number 1, Pretty Brazen. She returns to the track. She definitely has a class edge on these. First up here, I think she's got a very good chance. I think 450 is a nice price, and we saw last preparation, so she was in some very nice race. She won a 600 metre race at Sandown, beating Conqueror on that occasion. Prior to that, she finished 5th at Flemington behind Akari and Betcha Flying. The form of that race has been elite. And then prior to that, it beat Splendor on the grass at Caulfield. Again, great form. I mean, that sort of form really stacks up to win a race like this. It does have to carry the top weight, but I think it's got a very good chance first up at the 450. And then in for fourth, look, I'm going to go with number 5, Muse here. I think it's great value here. James McDowell in the saddle for Anthony Freeman. Thought it returned well at Bendigo last time out. Beat Rapidora, who is no slouch. So I think that form's not too bad. Has had 1 start, second up for a win, so do respect that. I think $13 is a bit over the odds. But look, I'm going to land with number 8, Swing and Boom here. I think it's got a very good chance to continue and add a third win onto its streak of 2 so far. And I think it can beat number 9, Catalan, who, like I said, had a better draw. I'd be extremely confident on it. In for second, number 3, number 1, Pretty Brazen. In for fourth, number 5, Muse. Final race of the card, it's a 400 metre Hong Kong JC Trophy over the 1400 metres. And look at the speed map for this race here. I'd say that Rocks the Castle, call it a day, and run away from the outside barrier, be up towards the speed. Streets of Avalon, Reflectivity, usually close enough to the pace, as is Amadeus, F Truth and Saccone. So they're really going to fly in this race. And yeah, you might want to have a look at some back markers here. And I think that one that might be a bit of a chance at odds, number 12, Star Missile, who is heading towards the All-Star Mile, looks really set to get in it based off the votings thus far. This horse has 4 starts, first up for 2 wins and a placing, so I'm pretty confident around that. So win at the track before, and it's had 3 starts at the distance for 3 wins. So, I mean, this horse loves running fresh and loves running at this distance range first up. And I think with the way the speed map and looks to play out, this horse could really get a great chance to run on from the back, wind up down Flemington straight, and just finish over the top of him. So I think it's going to be hard to beat ahead of number 5, Blazowski, who won very well first up the straight at Flemington over 1100 metres. Steps out to the 1400, which I think is a much more suitable distance range. Last time out, it beat Serious Suspect, who, like I said, I've got to give a great chance to earlier in the card to win. So if that horse wins, it just boosts the form of Blazowski. I think it's got a nice chance at the 550. If the third, number 3, Rocks the Castle, has a very good chance as well. So it comes into this second up, I can see a much better improved performance from last time out, where it finished third in the Sale Cup behind Just High for Luton and Man of His Word. So pretty good form that. Just High for Luton goes around earlier in the card as well, so we could see a bit of a form reference there. But this horse will be rolling along out the front. My only question is, there's just going to be a lot of pressure. And, of the on-speed runners, I could see it being the one that sticks on. But like I said, just all that pressure in the race just makes it a little bit hard to follow. But number 2, Admiral's Joker, is the other one that I want to give a good chance to. Finished second first up at Geelong behind Serious Suspect. So again, that Serious Suspect form is around there and about. So I really do think that we'll get a good indicator on what the form is like coming into this, and it might give a bit more of a chance to Blazowski and Admiral's Joker if Serious Suspect runs a good race earlier in the card and wins for us. But Admiral's Joker comes into this. That Serious Suspect form was last preparation. That was on January 30th of January, so not last prep, but was earlier on. And then finished 5th last time out behind Anahid and Bold Star. That was in fact last week at Caulfield. So this horse coming off a 7-day backup comes into this race. I think it's got a good chance it'll be able to wind up, and does really enjoy running at Flemington. It's had 2 starts at the track for a win and a placing, and 3 starts at this for a win and 2 seconds. So give it a nice chance as well. But recap the numbers for me. Number 12, Star Missile, is the one to beat for me. In for second, number 5, Blazowski. In for third, number 3, Rocks the Castle. In for fourth, number 2, Admiral's Joker. Now looking at my best bets for the card, look, it's just going back through them. Look, I'm quite keen to play. I'm quite keen to play Dalasan as one of my best bets for the card. I think he can beat Alligator Blood and Catalyst here. So race number 5, number 4, Dalasan is one of my best bets. I think it's going to be quite hard to beat. And then race number 7, the Lightning Stakes. I think Raceday, he's definitely... I could have put him as a best value, but I actually do think he's the best bet. I think he's a great winning chance. So I'm going to have him as my other best bet of the card. So it's race number 5, the CS Hayes Stakes. Number 4, Dalasan. And race number 7, the Black Caviar Lightning. Number 1, Raceday. And my best each way plays. Well, look, for me, I'm going to go number 12, Star Missile, in the final race of the card. The $6. Again, I could have gone Raceday each, but I'd rather go with... I think Raceday got that much of a winning chance. I wanted to put him as a best bet. So race number 9, Star Missile, is one of my best value plays of the day. And the other one that I want to give a good chance to is in race number 1, number 8, Mount Taboro, who is paying $5, but $1.85 the place. I think it's a really nice bit of value there. So that's all the tips and the preview of every race on the card for Black Caviar Lightning Stakes Day at Flemington tomorrow. If you're going to the track, enjoy your day. If not, hopefully you can find plenty of winners. Stay tuned for the Randwick meeting, which will be coming up next. And thanks for tuning in. Once again, appreciate all the support, and good luck punting tomorrow, and enjoy the races.